Edwin's world shattered as he absorbed the shocking revelation. Turning to Soldier Thompson, he urgently implored him to maintain composure, explaining that their adversaries were capitalizing on the cloak of darkness. The gravity of the situation hung in the air, prompting Thompson to disclose the grim reality that their soldiers were falling prey to an unseen menace. The troops, helpless and clueless, were perishing one by one, unaware of the direction or method of the insidious assaults. Astonishment gripped Edwin as he grappled with the paradox that even someone with heightened senses like Thompson was rendered powerless against the unseen threat. The concept of an aura knight crossed Edwin's mind, but it seemed inconceivable that Thompson, with his advanced sensory perception, could be entirely blind to the enemy's presence. Thompson painted a dire picture of the soldiers' struggle, a relentless battle against adversaries without a discernible form. Edwin struggled to reconcile the fact that Thompson, endowed with extraordinary abilities, was utterly incapable of detecting these elusive foes. The realization gnawed at Edwin, challenging his understanding of the capabilities of those trained for combat. Amidst the chaos, Thompson conveyed the soldiers' desperation, emphasizing the difficulty of engaging enemies without a tangible form. Edwin's mind raced, considering the possibility of magic. Within the domain of sorcery, there are mages who possess the ability to manipulate the essence of transparency, rendering a person's physical form invisible or concealed. However, he swiftly dismissed the notion, well aware that magical abilities had their limitations and required recovery periods between uses. It was a puzzle that defied conventional explanations, leaving Edwin grasping for understanding in the midst of an enigma. Despite the uncertainty, Edwin rallied himself to offer guidance. He urged Thompson not to succumb to the deceptive nature of the darkness, assuring him that reinforcements were on their way. The promise of impending support served as a beacon of hope amid the shadows that threatened to engulf them. Thompson, though visibly shaken, found solace in Edwin's words. He revealed that allies of Hector had encircled the camp, creating a defensive perimeter. This revelation provided a glimmer of optimism, a lifeline for the beleaguered soldiers. The plan was clear: to endure until the prince arrived with additional forces. With a sense of purpose, Thompson directed the first squadron soldiers to adopt defensive formations, urging them to thwart the enemy's relentless assault. Thompson, drawing on his aura, sought to pierce the veil of darkness and sense the elusive enemy. In a moment of heightened awareness, he identified a presence on the right side and swiftly launched an attack. However, the jubilation of striking back quickly turned to dismay as Thompson realized the enemies had cunningly used Hector's soldiers as bait. From the shadows emerged Roman, a silent predator who had concealed himself in the darkness, patiently hunting his adversaries. Frustration gripped Thompson as he confronted Roman, accusing him of cowardice and demanding that he reveal himself. In a sudden twist of events, Roman materialized before Thompson, offering a perspective on Hector's tactical miscalculations. Roman suggested that Hector tended to underestimate adversaries he couldn't see beforehand, leading to a misguided belief in victory. Intrigued by this insight, Roman turned the tables, questioning Thompson about Hector's potential error in judgment. Did Hector truly think he could effortlessly subdue Roman once he identified his location? Thompson, sensing the gravity of the situation, braced himself to confront Roman. The tension hung in the air as Thompson prepared to strike, convinced that he needed to conclude the conflict with Roman here and now. However, Roman swiftly outmaneuvered Thompson with a single, precise strike, sending him crashing to the ground. Thompson's desperate cry echoed through the battleground, alerting his comrades to the presence of an unseen adversary. Roman, unperturbed, explained his calculated move. He had manipulated mana to block off all surrounding sounds, ensuring that Thompson's distress signals wouldn't reach his fellow soldiers. Seizing the advantage, Roman subdued Thompson, pinning him to the ground and seizing a magical communication device. Through the magical device, Roman established a connection with Edwin. Confident that Edwin could hear him, Roman delved into a profound understanding of Hector's current plight. The Hector kingdom faced a severe famine, pushing its people to the brink of starvation. Roman dissected the motives behind Hector's aggressive military actions, revealing a strategic ploy to leverage the southern front as a means to extort crucial resources from Cairo. Roman, claiming to have unraveled Hector's scheme, outlined the urgency of Hector's predicament. The kingdom lacked sufficient military rations, and Roman pledged to obstruct Hector's plans at every juncture. With unwavering determination, Roman asserted that Hector's time was running out, emphasizing that he wouldn't last 3 months due to the scarcity of vital resources. As Roman disclosed the intricacies of Hector's precarious situation, forcing extreme measures in a desperate bid for survival. Roman's interference emerged as a formidable obstacle, disrupting Hector's grand designs and exacerbating the kingdom's vulnerability. Edwin, absorbing Roman's revelations, refrained from denying the accuracy of the claims. The severity of the famine, coupled with the kingdom's exhaustion of external borrowing options, left no room for denial. Trapped in an unrelenting cycle of debt, Hector faced the daunting task of making a critical decision to extricate itself from the financial abyss. Roman, confronted with this revelation, questioned Edwin's expectation for empathy. Edwin clarified that he wasn't seeking understanding from Roman but rather attempting to convey the desperate circumstances engulfing Hector. The very existence of the Hector kingdom teetered on the edge as they grappled with the consequences of war. Acknowledging the urgency emphasized by Roman earlier, Edwin admitted that Hector couldn't afford to stand down. The deaths of their comrades could not be in vain, driving them to continue the struggle even in the face of imminent crisis. Edwin's plea reached Roman, urging him to communicate a dire message to the Cairo royal family. If Hector failed to secure the necessary resources, they threatened to unleash the deadly concoctions of necromancers, transforming the southern front into a harrowing landscape of death. Edwin, as the prince, expressed his unwavering commitment to doing whatever it took to safeguard Hector's people. The weight of decision-making then shifted to Roman, prompting Edwin to inquire about Roman's stance. Would Roman choose to stand alongside Hector, facing the precipice of impending doom, or would he opt for negotiation? The fate of this fragile alliance now rested in the hands of Cairo, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the unfolding narrative. As Roman pondered this critical choice, Edwin's identity emerged as a familiar presence in his investigations into the southern front. Edwin Hector, unlike his father, distinguished himself as a competent leader, earning acknowledgement both within and beyond the kingdom. While Roman acknowledged Edwin's exceptional qualities, he detected a veiled threat in Edwin's words. Responding with swift brutality, Roman kicked Thompson, one of Hector's soldiers, who screamed out in pain. Edwin, alarmed by this sudden act of violence, sought an explanation from Roman. With a detached calmness, Roman justified his actions, explaining that he had eliminated Thompson. Edwin, bewildered, questioned the reasoning behind such a drastic measure. In response, Roman revealed his indifference to the complex struggles faced by Hector. He urged Edwin not to misconstrue the situation, emphasizing that the war had already begun and that Hector, by crossing certain lines, forfeited any expectation of humane treatment from Roman. In Roman's eyes, the harsh realities of war had stripped away any semblance of obligation to mercy or understanding. Roman asserted his commitment to pursuing what he believed to be the right course of action. He cautioned Edwin against attempting to tether him, issuing a stark warning that he wouldn't spare any of Hector's soldiers. Even if Hector were to raise a white flag and attempt to escape, Roman pledged to relentlessly pursue them, ensuring that each and every member of Hector's forces would face the consequences. Identifying himself unequivocally as Roman Dimitry, he emphasized that his resolve was unwavering. In a chilling proclamation, Roman conveyed to Edwin that, should he choose to embrace death and resist until the bitter end, their paths would inevitably cross again. Edwin, taken aback by this declaration, was left contemplating the true extent of Roman Dimitry's danger, a realization that exceeded his previous assessments. In the unfolding events, Jackson pressed Edwin for his next move. Edwin responded decisively, instructing Jackson to swiftly mobilize the forces of Hector and form a strategic encirclement around the location of the communication device. This command, laden with urgency, was fueled by a deep sense of responsibility toward Thompson, who had met a painful end. Edwin, driven by a personal vendetta, declared his intention to personally confront Roman Dimitry. Upon receiving Edwin's orders, Jackson, understanding the gravity of the situation, rallied the soldiers. He urged them to persist in their ascent up the mountain, even in the face of fallen comrades. The overarching objective was to cut off the enemy's retreat route, sealing Roman and his forces in. The air was charged with a palpable tension as Hector's soldiers prepared to execute Edwin's directives, each step a testament to their commitment to avenging Thompson and safeguarding their kingdom. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to Roman, who began unraveling the intricacies of the environment to his soldiers. He revealed that seemingly insignificant rocks and branches held innate mana, imperceptible to the human eye. Roman expounded on the potential of artificially manipulating this mana to control space, introducing a concept he termed trap formation. As Roman explained these mystical principles, Chris, one of Roman's soldiers, was taken aback. The application of the trap formation left him feeling as if his senses had been abruptly denied. Roman's mastery over space unfolded like a cosmic chessboard, hiding his presence from plain view. In the midst of this mystical display, Chris grappled with the surreal nature of Roman's techniques. The trap formation seemed to play tricks on perception, leaving Chris bewildered by the hidden dimensions of Roman strategy. Returning to the Hector soldiers, the intensity of the charge was met with swift and calculated opposition. Chris, embodying the newfound strength derived from his training under Roman, executed a single, decisive strike that showcased the effectiveness of the trap formation. It became evident that the Hector army, unaware of Chris's presence due to the spatial manipulation, fell into what Chris discerned as a trap formation, a strategic disadvantage that compromised their ability to detect and counter their adversaries. In a resounding voice, Chris commands the Roman soldiers to unleash their assault upon the enemy forces, capitalizing on the advantage of their trap formation, which cunningly conceals Chris from the adversary's detection. Chris, however, was no ordinary soldier. His transformation after engaging in single combat with Roman had propelled him into a realm of martial prowess previously unattainable. Dedication and relentless training with Roman had enabled Chris to absorb the teachings of the top martial masters, placing him among the elite warriors. The blue aura enveloping Chris was a testament to his newfound abilities, as he effortlessly dispatched multiple opponents with a lightning-fast technique known as the lightning flash. With the belief that they had successfully executed Roman's orders, Chris assessed the situation and decided to act prudently. Fearing a potential influx of Hector soldiers, Chris swiftly commanded his comrades to retreat and regroup at the next designated point. This strategic move aimed to avoid unnecessary confrontation and maintain the element of surprise. In different regions, parallel battles were unfolding. Kevin, enveloped in a foreboding red aura, methodically dismantled a few Hector soldiers. His demeanor exuded confidence as he stood before the remaining Hector forces, contemplating the perceived invincibility of his liege's methods. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Pucky and a contingent of Roman soldiers executed their mission with precision, successfully eliminating Hector soldiers in diverse areas. The surprise attack, orchestrated by 4 distinct groups, unfolded simultaneously, achieving its intended success. As events progressed, the focus shifted from the battlefield to the mountain descent, where an injured Hector soldier approached Edwin with unsettling information. The soldier conveyed a conviction that a mage was concealed within Cairo's camp on the mountain. The soldier detailed instances where Cairo's forces appeared mysteriously, launching surprise attacks on Hector soldiers even in well-lit areas. Jackson, sharing this information with Edwin, speculated that Hector soldiers had fallen into a cunning enemy trap. Edwin, contemplating the soldier's revelation, weighed the possibility of magic being employed to transport soldiers. However, he quickly dismissed the idea that high-circle magic scrolls, capable of such feats, could be the culprit. These scrolls were strictly controlled by the Magic Tower, a neutral organization known for its regulation of magical resources. Considering the resource-strapped southern front, Edwin found it improbable that such high-level magical items could be in their possession. This led him to a startling deduction: there might be a mage in the south, operating independently of the Magic Tower. Edwin's skepticism deepened as he contemplated the rarity of mages, emphasizing that they were even scarcer than aura swordsmen. Most mages, gifted with mana manipulation abilities, aligned themselves with the Magic Tower. This neutral organization actively sought out talented individuals across the continent, offering a repository of magical knowledge. The allure of this organization left little room for mages to operate independently. The prospect of a high-circle mage operating clandestinely in the south challenged Edwin's understanding of the unfolding situation. Mages were typically aligned with the Magic Tower, and the idea of one acting outside those bounds seemed unlikely. Edwin found himself grappling with the recent surge in magic users, a departure from the historical scarcity of such individuals in each country. He couldn't shake his skepticism, convinced that the sudden influx of magic users couldn't be authentic. Despite the curiosity tempting him to investigate personally, Edwin chose to exercise caution. The soldiers were currently entrenched in a perilous battle against the forces of the Cairo kingdom, and Edwin recognized that this wasn't the opportune time for him to risk his life. Instead, he opted to bide his time, patiently waiting for the right moment when Roman Dimitry would unwittingly fall into Edwin's carefully laid trap. Shifting focus to the mountains, Roman's ongoing confrontation with Hector soldiers took a dramatic turn. Roman successfully vanquished another Hector soldier, but this time, his opponent utilized a peculiar artifact. With each of Roman's movements, The artifact emitted fragments of light in all directions, effectively turning Roman into a conspicuous target. This unexpected twist exposed Roman's location like a firefly illuminating the night. Hector's soldiers swiftly disseminated this crucial information, guiding their comrades toward Roman's now revealed position. The 2nd and 3rd squadrons mobilized, driven by the collective desire to avenge their fallen comrades. As they prepared to launch a joint attack on Roman, expectations ran high among the Hector soldiers. However, Roman, ever the cunning strategist, had an ace up his sleeve. Unleashing his second move of the Heavenly Demon arts, he deftly incapacitated all approaching Hector soldiers. The surprising efficiency of Roman's counterattack left the Hector soldiers astounded, caught off guard by the unexpected turn of events. Despite Roman's success, the toll on his stamina became apparent. Taking a moment to gather himself, Roman was approached by an injured Hector soldier who questioned the feasibility of Roman's escape. The soldier pointed to the daunting reality of thousands of Hector soldiers surrounding the mountains, emphasizing that no matter how formidable Roman was, his demise seemed inevitable at the hands of the overwhelming forces closing in. In response, Roman calmly revealed a strategic revelation to the injured soldier. He disclosed that Hector's soldiers had unwittingly fallen into his trap. Countless reinforcements were converging on the mountain, charging recklessly in a desperate attempt to halt Roman's progress. The sheer audacity and recklessness of Hector's soldiers, hoping to stall Roman for mere minutes or even seconds, didn't escape Roman's notice. A wry smile played on Roman's lips as he marveled at the ironic twist of fate, where Hector's forces, in their pursuit, had become more careless than ever. Roman chuckled with a nonchalant demeanor, expressing his intention to toy with Hector's soldiers for as long as Hector desired. He emphasized that there was ample time until the sun would grace the horizon, signaling the dawn of a new day. However, his leisurely moment was abruptly interrupted as Jackson emerged from behind, proclaiming that the end had come for Roman. Roman turned to face his unexpected challenger and recognized the soldier with light equipment and a face adorned with scars. A realization struck Roman. This must be Jackson, the captain of the Ranger unit. Roman mused that Jackson's energy was undeniably formidable, rating it a solid 4 stars. The encounter left Roman contemplating whether Hector had intentionally concealed such potent information. A charged atmosphere enveloped the scene as both Jackson and Roman emanated their respective auras. The clash of their swords resonated with full force, the sound echoing through the mountainous terrain. The intensity of their gaze and the energy emanating from their clash conveyed a fierce determination on both sides. In the heat of the moment, Jackson roared with conviction, declaring that he had finally cornered Roman. Amidst the dense foliage of the forest, Jackson, a skilled swordsman carrying a 4-star rating without an official ranking within the Hector Kingdom, played a pivotal role as the leader of the Ranger Corps in the eyes of the outside world. This apparent disconnect between Jackson's known capabilities and his official status created an air of mystery surrounding his true strength. The ongoing clash between Roman and Jackson unfolded against this backdrop, illuminating the forest with a vibrant blue glow. In the midst of their fierce confrontation, Jackson found himself astounded by Roman's unwavering resilience. The anticipated impact of Jackson's attacks failed to push Roman back as expected, prompting Jackson to confront the realization that he had underestimated Roman Dimitry. Reflecting on the past reports that labeled Roman as a mere 3-star swordsman, Jackson pondered whether these accounts were a deliberate deception. In Jackson's estimation, individuals ranking 4 stars and above were considered walking disasters on the battlefield. The revelation of Roman's true strength shed light on why Hector soldiers had struggled against him. Roman, seemingly impervious to Jackson's strikes, retaliated with his own calculated moves. As Roman countered Jackson's attacks, the Ranger leader couldn't help but acknowledge the strength displayed by his opponent. Roman's strategic use of aura allowed him to deliver a powerful strike, pushing Jackson back. In this moment of recognition, Jackson grudgingly accepted that Roman was indeed a formidable adversary. However, Jackson remained confident in the outcome of the battle. He decided to retreat and blew a whistle, signaling the arrival of Hector soldiers who swiftly surrounded Roman. Jackson, believing victory was within his grasp, confidently urged Roman to surrender. To everyone's surprise, Roman responded with a nonchalant smile, suggesting that the Hector soldiers were operating under misconceptions. Roman proceeded to dismantle the false assumptions surrounding him. Firstly, he revealed that artifacts, such as the one Jackson had employed, would never adhere to him against his will. In a bold and defiant move, Roman destroyed the artifact before Jackson's eyes. The unexpected act left Jackson in shock, realizing that Roman possessed an uncanny ability to resist the influence of magical devices. Secondly, Roman asserted his confidence in escaping any encirclement, dismissing the notion that the sheer number of soldiers could subdue him. This claim defied conventional wisdom, leaving Jackson and the surrounding Hector soldiers to grapple with the audacity of Roman's statement. The dynamics of the confrontation shifted as Roman's strategic brilliance continued to confound his adversaries. In a sudden twist, Roman exhibited his agility and speed by appearing behind Jackson. This unexpected maneuver caught the Ranger leader off guard. Roman taunted Jackson, drawing attention to the absence of Edwin Hector's support in that critical moment. The realization dawned on Jackson that he had been outmaneuvered by Roman's cunning tactics. As Roman vanished from sight, leaving the Hector soldiers bewildered, Jackson raised the alarm. He urgently shouted for the soldiers to pursue Roman immediately, emphasizing the imminent danger Prince Edwin faced.